There comes a moment in life when you realize that no matter how much you try to please, perform, or prove yourself, it never quite feels like enough. And if your self-worth depends on how others see you, how your body looks, or how productive you are, then your sense of safety is always at risk. Today, I want to talk to you about self-worth, what it really is, why so many of us struggle with it, and how to start building a strong sense of self-worth from within. This is something I've struggled with myself, and almost everyone I know has faced it at some point. Hi everyone, I'm Esther. For over 21 years, I've been helping people rebuild their lives and their sense of self-worth by healing the relationship that they have with themselves so that they no longer feel they need to earn love, approval, or safety from the outside. If you appreciate personal and spiritual growth content, please give this video a like. Let's start with what self-worth really is, because self-worth isn't the same thing as confidence or self-esteem. It's not about feeling good on a good day or liking yourself only when things are going well. Self-worth is the deeper belief that you hold about yourself, whether you feel worthy of love, respect, and belonging, even when you're struggling, even when you're imperfect, and even when no one is validating you. Self-worth is the deep, quiet knowing that you are worthy simply because you exist. Not because of what you look like, what you achieve, who approves of you, or how perfectly you show up to the world. When you have a solid sense of self-worth, you are more able to set boundaries without guilt. You stop people-pleasing as a survival strategy. Your relationships become more authentic because you are no longer trying to earn your place in them. And when self-worth is shaky or missing, life can feel subtly unstable, even when things look fine on the outside. Because everything in life can change at any time. People, roles, careers, relationships, even your body. The only thing you truly live with every single day is your relationship with yourself. And if that relationship is neglected, critical, or hostile, your entire life can feel unsafe, even in moments of success. Self-love and self-worth are about creating a home within yourself, a place that you can always return to regardless of external chaos. So why do many people struggle with self-worth? What's important to understand is that struggling with self-worth is not a personal failure. It's often a very natural response to how we were conditioned when we were young. Teenagers and people in their 20s often struggle with self-worth because identity is still being formed at that time. Belonging feels like survival. Social comparison is constant. Worth becomes attached to appearance, popularity, achievement, or being chosen. Someone in their teens might believe, if I'm not liked, I don't matter. Someone in their 20s might believe, if I don't have it all figured out, I'm failing. And then people move into their 30s and 40s, and the struggle often shifts. Now it's about roles, about being a good employee, a good partner, a good parent, successful, stable, responsible. And many people quietly measure their worth against timelines that were never truly theirs. And even people over 50, people who have lived, loved, lost, and learned can still struggle with self-worth because unexamined core beliefs do not disappear with age. They simply get quieter, more familiar, and sometimes more convincing. A belief formed early in life can run in the background of your entire existence if it is never brought into the light. I want to share with you a story that illustrates this point. Imagine a young girl who grows up learning, directly or indirectly, that her appearance, especially her weight, determines her value. She receives praise when she's thinner, criticism or concern when she's not, and over time she absorbs a belief without ever consciously choosing it, that my worth is determined by my body. She carries this belief into adulthood. Relationships enforce it. Society reinforces it. Even compliments reinforce it because they are all conditional. And then one day, perhaps in her mid to late 40s, she wakes up and realizes something profound. This isn't true. I'm not worthy because of my weight. I am worthy simply because I exist. But knowing something intellectually does not mean the issue has been emotionally healed. The belief is still deeply embedded. It has roots. It was validated over decades. This is why sometimes change can feel slow, not because you're failing, but because you are unwinding something that was woven into your nervous system and your belief system. And I want to say something very important here. Even if you are still struggling with self-worth, no matter what age you are, even if you are actively working on the issue but haven't arrived yet, the people who genuinely love you, the people who truly matter in your life, are capable of loving you with your imperfections. Healing does not make you worthy. Healing simply helps you to feel what has always been true. Lack of self-worth can show up in every area of your life. When I work with people, the surface issue is rarely the real issue. In relationships, someone may say, well, Esther, I keep meeting unavailable partners, or my relationships never seem to move forward, or I'm always left. And then when we gently look beneath the pattern, we often find a core belief like, I'm not worthy of the love that I want. I'm not worthy of commitment. I'm not worthy of being chosen. With money and abundance work, people may struggle with scarcity, under-earning, or self-sabotage in money matters. But underneath it, many of those patterns hold beliefs like, I'm not worthy of having what I want. That kind of life is for other people, not for me. Addressing self-worth is an important piece in everyone's life journey. Sometimes people say to me, well, Esther, I don't understand. I had loving parents. There was lots of attention. We had fun. There was no abuse or neglect. Why do I still feel this way, unworthy? And when we explore, we often discover something subtle but powerful, and that's pressure. Pressure to live up to expectations, pressure to be a certain kind of person, pressure to succeed, perform, or represent the family in a certain way. And the child internalizes, who I am is not enough unless I meet this standard. Self-worth doesn't require trauma to be a wound. Sometimes it only requires conditional approval. Then there is the external validation and the compliment trap. Compliments can feel wonderful. They release dopamine. They temporarily boost self-esteem. But when your worth depends on them, they become unstable ground. If the compliments stop, doubt begins to shift in. And if the praise stops, insecurity grows. This is why seeking external validation can be exhausting, because people are inconsistent, their attention fluctuates, their approval changes. Owning your worth means you are no longer at the mercy of all of that. And let's not forget the role of self-trust. Self-worth cannot fully develop without self-trust. You have to trust yourself, your feelings, boundaries, your inner signals and intuition. When you don't trust yourself, you outsource your worth to other people. And rebuilding self-trust is part of this journey. I want to offer you a few practices that you can start today, not to fix yourself, but to start changing the relationship that you have with yourself. And the first place to begin is facing your own shadow. This means gently acknowledging the parts of you that have been labeled as bad, wrong, or unacceptable. Maybe there are moments when you feel angry, judgmental, jealous, or even quite reactive. Maybe you notice parts of you that aren't patient, generous, or as kind as you wish that they were. Most people try to push these parts away, deny them, shame them, or just reject them full out. But denying these parts doesn't make them disappear. It just drives them underground, within, in your subconscious, where they quietly influence your behavior and your sense of self-worth. Owning your shadow does not mean approving harmful behavior or excusing actions that don't align with your values. It simply means recognizing that having these traits does not make you unworthy. A simple practice that you can do today to address this is when you notice a part of yourself that you don't like, pause and say inwardly, "This is a part of me. It's not all of me." Then bring curiosity instead of judgment to it. Ask, what is this part trying to protect me from, and what does it need? When these parts of you are met with compassion instead of shame, they lose their emotional charge. And something important happens. Your self-worth starts to become more stable. So the next time someone says, "You're being harsh," or "You're really judgmental," it doesn't collapse your sense of self. There's no spiral into shame. You might simply think, yes, that can be a part of me, and I'm aware of it, and I'm working with it. This is how self-worth begins to anchor inside of you. The second practice is learning to separate who you are from what you do. Many of us were praised for our performance, not our presence, for being productive, helpful, successful, or pleasing, not for simply being ourselves. Over time, this creates a compulsive doing pattern where worth becomes something you have to earn again and again. If your sense of self-worth comes from doing, then rest can feel unsafe. Stillness can feel uncomfortable or even threatening. You may notice guilt when you're not being productive, or anxiety when you slow down. A gentle practice you can begin today is to notice how you speak to yourself when you're not doing anything, when you're resting, pausing, taking a break. Simply observe your inner dialogue. Are you judging yourself? Pressuring yourself to get going? Measuring your value? Then experiment with offering yourself one different message. Something like, "I don't need to earn my worth in this very moment. I'm allowed to exist without always performing." Learning to like yourself even when you are not producing, pleasing, or achieving is a powerful act of self-worth. It teaches your nervous system that your value is not conditional. And the third practice is to begin to identify the core beliefs that quietly run your life. This is the foundation of my work with clients. Most of our behavior is driven not by what we consciously think, but by beliefs we absorbed early on, often without realizing it. These beliefs shape how we show up in relationships, work, money, and even how we treat ourselves. A simple way to uncover these beliefs is to ask yourself gentle, honest questions. You might ask, what would it mean about me if I didn't get approval? Or what do I fear would be true about me if I stopped trying so hard? Don't rush to get answers. Let the question sit and settle, and notice what comes up in your body, not just your mind. Often the first answer that arises is pointing directly to a belief that is ready to be seen, changed, and healed. Once a belief is brought into your awareness, it instantly loses some of its power. You can begin to question it, soften it, and eventually replace it with something more aligned with who you truly are. This is how real self-worth begins to grow. Not through force or affirmations, but through awareness, compassion, and self-trust. Self-worth is not something you earn or create. It is something you remember about yourself and bring to the forefront. And the journey back to self-worth is not about fixing yourself. It's about coming home to yourself. Are you dreaming of the day when you feel genuine self-love, self-worth, and respect? The day where you have strong self-esteem and confidence and you radiate it, and life reflects that beautiful energy back to you through relationships, money, career, and meaningful connections. I can help you do the inner work to heal the hurts and change the beliefs so you can live and experience the life that you desire. Please check out my session offerings in the description box below. And if we haven't worked together before, reach out to me first so we can discuss whether this is the right and perfect next step for you. Oh, and please check out the video that's popping up on your screen right now. I think it is a beautiful complement to what we have discussed here today.